came over.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. We are getting ready to start, and I'm just going to change my... Okay, there we go. We have a lot to talk about today. There's a ton, but thankfully, if you have had enough of us talking to you, it is the last session of this year. We're going to take a break after this so you can go and do your holiday planning, have your parties, and we will be back again in January, on January the 9th. Of course, this will be ready for watching on demand later next week, probably, because we're taping on Thursday tonight. There's a huge agenda. We're hoping to have, actually, I see that Sergey is here today. Thank you, Sergey, for joining us. Sergey was really intending to be with us last week. He is from Enso Team Realty, but he got caught on some delay from flying from London to back to Spain. So he is here today to answer questions about buying a home. And he'll be joining, he'll be talking a little bit later this session. I might go over. If I go over, please feel free to drop off at 8 o'clock like we usually, or, in an hour. But a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. We're going up to the 16th floor at Gowling WLG at First Canadian Place just to check out the venue for our January the 28th Global Dream Seminar. We'd like to remind everybody who are in the GTA, if you're interested in meeting us in person and actually being able to ask questions face-to-face with accountants and lawyers downtown Toronto, it's important that you register because it's already starting to pick up. We have only 100 complimentary seats. We're expecting that we're going to have a waiting list. Yvette and I are also asking, we are members of the Spanish Chamber of Commerce in Toronto. They are very interested in attending too. So there's going to be a lot of people coming out. It's going to be a great event. And we do plan to do another one. But if you're interested, make sure you register. You have to click the link and register to save your space. So that's really important. We have had requests if we can record it. We're not sure. We're going to make the best attempt possible to have it recorded, but it's not going to be live streamed at all. That will not happen. So the best way to do it is to register in person. All right. The next thing I wanted to let you guys know about, Yvette and I had a wonderful, amazing meeting interview with a lawyer in Valencia, Spain. Her name is Inmaculada. And we have recorded the whole 45-minute session. She was a wealth of knowledge about how to open up a bank account, whether you need an NIE, how to get a power of attorney, how to buy a house, all the paperwork that's required to actually buy a house in Spain. That whole video will be ready also soon, but I've queued up just a little bit of a teaser, I guess, to see who she is. And I'm going to share the screen now to show you that. Okay, yeah. And I'm going to play that. We had this question coming up in a previous masterclass where what is actually required to open up a bank account in Spain? You don't need residency there, right? You just need an NIE, is that right?
Or you don't even need a NIE, you only need the passport because you can set up a non-resident bank account. And for that, the most important documents that you will have to provide will be, of course, your passport, but also to fulfill with the money laundering regulations, you will have to provide the source of the money that you are going to deposit in that bank account, which, if you are just using that bank account for your daily payments or something that it could be small, you will have to provide your last income taxes and your last pay slip if you have, or pension certificate or whatever. If you are also planning to buy a property, you will have to provide the bank the documents to prove that where the money for the property purchase is coming from, which means that if you are selling your property in Canada and buying another property in Spain, you will have to provide the documents from the sale of your property in Canada. So when the bank in Spain receives the money will go straight forward to your bank account, and the bank is not going to make more questions.
Okay, so you saw her speak. She's a wonderful wealth of knowledge. I encourage you guys, if you're not already part of our Canadian expat group here on Facebook. Look us up. We're a public group. It's called Canadian Expats, and you can join and we post stuff there as well. One thing she mentioned was that she will recommend if you're close to moving to Spain or need some advice to contact her and we'll provide the contact details. She will do a Zoom call with you, complimentary, to understand what it is you're trying to do, what region you're trying to go to. So if you're looking to buy a house or even what visa you might need if you're not fortunate enough to have like a European Union citizenship, if you are needing a visa to get there, she will help you understand what visa is the best one for you and she will tell you what paperwork you need to do that. So really, really amazing contact that Iveta found for us. And this actually comes from some questions we get. So feel free to keep on sending us questions. And as we get the questions, we reach out to different people in Spain to see if we can connect with them on your behalf and learn from them and vet them to see, are they professional? Do they return calls? Are they somebody that we could trust to send people to? All right. So now, Inma said that you don't need an NIE, but Iveta is going to talk a little bit about her experience. She actually got her NIE in Toronto. And Iveta, tell us all about it.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And hello once again, everyone. Just housekeeping, please check the site. I'm posting the groups, the Facebook groups where you can find the invite. Okay. So please check those sites and make sure you're part of those groups. As for NIE, well, I was prepared to face the hurdles of Spanish bureaucracy, and I thought, oh my God, it's going to take forever. Meanwhile, while in Spain, they wanted to charge quite a lot of money with whoever we spoke to for this NIE, because apparently you need that number. It's just like a social insurance number that you need in order to buy a property. That's one of the necessities. So I said, okay, let me find out through Spanish Embassy. We're lucky enough that Toronto has a consulate here. There's also one in Montreal. There's one in Alberta, I believe. There's one in Vancouver. So it is quite easy to get to them if you are in those areas of Canada. I emailed. They responded within the same day. They right away said, do you want to book appointment? I said, yes, please. I'd like to book appointment. What do I need? They send me the links. There are a couple of forms in Spanish. I used my Google Translate hovering over the form, which was basically helping me to identify whether I'm married or divorced or whether I'm a male or a female. The rest was quite easy. And for the police form, there's two forms. Police form was a little bit more complicated. And meanwhile, the embassy told me, listen, if you can't fill it all out, don't worry, we will help you. Sure enough, they come back and they booked a meeting for me in embassy within a couple of weeks. I actually chose the preferred time. We arrived at given time, which was 1 o'clock. We were a bit early. We sat down. Within exactly at 1 o'clock, they called us to the window, checked my forms, filled out, told me where to write what was missing. It took literally 10 minutes and we paid $14.40 per form. That's it. We went home.
Wow.
And within 1 week, we got an email with an IE number. That's it. That's the process. The biggest deal was to drive there and to find the parking. That's it. So it is easy. And even if you don't know yet, just go ahead and get it. I don't think it will harm you in any way.
Okay, awesome.
That's the
So
story.
obviously there are most people on this class are Spain focused. I know we have some that are Italy and Portugal and other places. So we are working towards getting more information on that if you need there. But for example, for the Spain people, that's the story of the NIE. We had the person on the ground, Iveta, testing it all out. There's a question from Diane, where is the consulate or embassy in Toronto?
Oh my goodness. I will email you the address, but I will search up while Serge is going to be talking. I'll put it in a chat.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm going to just kind of go through today's topic. We're going to talk about taxation, queuing up a little bit about Trowbridge coming on. Trowbridge is the accountants that we work with. And Demetrios is going to be joining us on January I'm not going to remember this, 15th or whatever the Tuesday is in January, to talk more about the topics we're going to cover a little bit about today. And he will be at the January 28th session as well. But first thing I want to point out, and you probably already know this because you've been doing some research, there is a tax treaty between Spain and Canada. So you are good there in terms of having a lower withholding tax on income from Canada. But if it's somewhere else in the world that you're looking to go to, you want to check out the CRA website to see if there's a tax treaty, just so you know that. And the way that you would do that is to go to the CRA website. I'm trying to queue it up here. I'm getting really confused today with all the websites that I've got open up. Sorry, give me a second. There we go. And share. Okay. So I will share this link with everybody, but in here is the tax treaties that the government of Canada has with all the different countries, and you'll see that there are a lot of them. There is Spain right there. We've got my country, Romania. We got Portugal. So if you see it here, there's a tax treaty, which simply means that when you're a non-resident of Canada, there's going to be a withholding tax when you're getting income from certain sources. And that withholding tax is usually considered your final tax for Canada because, well, they don't know where you are. But if there is and that tax is usually 25%. It's 25% withholding tax on certain types of income, which we're going to get into pretty soon, a little bit later in a few minutes. And if you're in a tax treaty country, well, there's the opportunity to basically say, don't make it 25%, make it lower. And that lower number is typically 15%. So that's a very important thing to consider when you're doing your cash flow planning, because you don't want to just kind of go to Spain and you're usually getting you're used to contacting your financial planner and saying, I want 5,000 from my RRSP. And they're saying, okay, great, the withholding tax is 10%. Some of you may know, on 5,000, and then all of a sudden you're in Spain and you ask for $1,000 and it's 25%. And you might be scratching your head. Well, that's because you're a non-resident, or if you become a non-resident. So that's a whole different topic, whether you're going to be staying here in Canada or being a resident in Spain. So the next thing I want to bring up is I want to bring back the CRA booklet that we talked about in the very first session. And the reason I want to do that is because we've been following page 21, and I want to show you that. And I just want to, it's a good reminder of everything that we've done so far to date. And that is when you're preparing to go to another country, and just a reminder, this is the CRA booklet. I've sent it out. You guys all have PDF versions of this. And I will have some on hand, for example, on January 28th to just hand out. But on page 21, as a good reminder, here's what we talked about, calculating the costs. So we already looked at looking into the cost of living in your destination country. Last week, we looked at Numbeo. I sent a follow-up email with not just the Numbeo website, but 2 other websites that I found. Just do your research. And of course, the best research is on the ground. Go visit, spend some time there, see what it's really like. Because being there, you'll find the shops, you'll find the stores, you'll find the farmers markets, what it costs to go for like a real nice dinner or not. That's the best way to figure that out. Know the cost of shipping, personal and household effects. So we had Yuri on talking about Prime League. Now, he didn't talk about the costs. We let you deal with him directly and see what the prices are. But that would be the next thing if you're planning to move your property with you. Many people don't. Some people just say, we're going to start off fresh. We have an estate sale here, sell it off, give it to the kids, put it into charity. And we're just going to go to IKEA because we're going to get, a small apartment there. Everything's smaller there anyway. So I know that my bedroom set would not fit into anything in Spain anyway, because we bought a mastodon of heavy wood, for our bedroom set. Making sure you have enough money to get your property settled. Well, we also talked about a cash wedge and preparing for like a year of retirement, like maybe not having it invested, having a certain amount in an account that you'll be comfortable that you have money for the rest of the year. Emergency fund goes into that. Now we're talking about taking into account all the duties, fees, taxes you'll pay in retirement. So this is the topic today that we're covering, okay? So I'm going to show you a document I've discovered from the CRA called T4131. I love their numbers. Like, they're really descriptive. Right. So this document is not too long, only 22 pages. Canadian residents abroad. Is this plan fit for you? Well, if you left Canada in the year to travel to or live abroad, then it's probably for you. And the one page that I was focused on was this page 13. Are you a non-resident and non-residents and income tax? So let's scroll down there. And again, I'll send you the whole document so you can have a sleeping aid if you need to fall asleep one night. So non-residents and income tax. In the year you leave Canada, you are considered to be an immigrant for tax purposes. For all the following years, if your situation does not change, you will be considered non-resident. And as a non-resident, you have to file a Canadian income tax and benefit return if you received any of the following types. So what I've learned is that you don't normally have to file a tax return, but you may want to if there's benefits or something that you have to actually claim. So these are some of the things. For example, if you're still working and you're getting an income, obviously you're still going to be filing income from a business carried in Canada, taxable Canadian scholarships, taxable capital gains resulting from the dispositions of taxable Canadian property. So that'd be like if you have a rental condo or some other investment property, a cottage, and you're selling it while you're there. Then the next thing is, well, Canadian sourced investment income. A lot of you are going to have RRSPs, tax-free savings accounts, non-registered accounts. You might have just cash sitting in a bank account, and that's what you're using. But each one of them may or may not have some taxes. So, for example, we talk here about, there was a list here. One second. I lost it now. But that's okay. I've memorized it. So I can't find it right now on the screen, but I'll stop sharing and I'll tell you what we have learned and we've confirmed with our accountant contacts at Trowbridge. If you are getting interest income, so that would be, a guaranteed investment certificate, interest on a high interest savings account, something like that, that is not generally taxable. So you don't have to worry about that. If you get capital gains, and I'm going to talk like this stuff, but I'll also try to explain it a little bit. So capital gains from selling a mutual fund in a non-registered account. So not in an RRSP or anything like that, in a non-registered account. And a non-registered account is simply an account that holds stocks, bonds, mutual funds, exchange traded funds, whatever. If you sell a mutual fund and you've sold it for more than you bought it for, that is a capital gain, not taxable. You're exempt. You're golden. Where you will get some tax is if you get dividends, again, in a non-registered account. Dividends paid to you through the year. And the best example, I guess, and I have to underline, I'm not a stockbroker, I'm not licensed to sell stocks, but the best way to explain it is if you had a bank stock. Pick any bank stock, Royal Bank, CIBC, Scotia, CIBC, whatever, National Bank, I don't want to leave them out. If you buy that bank stock and it's a non-registered account, and let's say it's 4% dividend, you put $1 million into it, you're going to get $40,000 of dividends in the year. Whether you spend it or not, whether you put it into a bank account or not, like you can have the dividend set up to buy more stock and you never see it in your bank account. It doesn't matter. You will get a tax slip of dividends and you'll have to pay tax on that. So if you're a non-resident, that withholding will automatically happen. If you don't see it happen, that means you haven't told your financial institution your new address in Spain or Italy or Portugal, and they don't know that you're a non-resident. So it's important to let them know so that they can do the right withholding. Now, if you tell them, the automatic, like I explained before, is 25%. So here's an important tip. One that's really important that I learned when I had my first client go over to Spain. At IG, our head office did a great job. As soon as I changed the address on our system, they immediately sent me an email to say, we need your client to let us know to sign this document so that we can tell the CRA that he's in Spain and that there's a tax treaty there so that we don't have to automatically withhold 25%. We can qualify him to withhold 15%. And that form is NR341. You can write this down or you can just wait for the email because I will be sending this to you as well. So let me share this. If you don't get this from your company that you have your investments, contact them and let them know because otherwise they will be withholding 25%. So it's an NR 301, Declaration of Eligibility for Benefits, Reduced Tax under a tax treaty for a non-resident person. And we're not going to go out on how to fill it out today, but basically it's one of the government forms. Looks like this. Can I make it bigger? Not sure. But basically you put your name, your financial institution will fill this out for you and have you sign it. At least that's what we did. We filled it out for our clients. We sent it off to them. And thankfully, we're able to do like a DocuSign process. So we didn't have to mail the document over to them, have them sign it, send it back. We sent it through a secure method called DocuSign. They digitally signed it, sent it back to us. We accepted it and we sent it off to the CRA. We also mailed it to them just so that they knew because a few weeks after we did that, they called me. They said, hey, we just got the same document in the mail. Do we have to sign it? No, they didn't have to sign it. So that's good for 2 years, by the way. Every 2 years, you got to sign it again. So that's important to know. All right, we're moving along. It's 7:23, so I really want to get going because there's so much more. TFSAs. Everybody has probably had questions. Should we keep a TFSA or should we not keep a TFSA? And the answer is it depends. All right, so the reason you wouldn't keep a TFSA, and this is what I've also learned from Trowbridge, for example, our partners, is that at least in the US and potentially other countries in the world, they don't look at the tax sheltering status of it as well. So it doesn't shelter any growth, for example. So if there are dividends or capital gains or whatever, they're taxable. Again, we talked that capital gains are not taxable, interest is not taxable, but dividends are. So that's one of the main reasons. However, there could be a reason to still maintain it. And one reason might be that if you've gone over to Spain or Italy or Portugal and maybe you've left, your 20-year-old kids behind because they're here set up and you've had them as beneficiary. You want to set them up as a beneficiary on the tax-free savings account. That is still an estate planning tool. So, because if you have a large TFSA, like $100,000, and you say, well, I'm going to Spain, and they said I shouldn't have it because tax reason is not going to help, cash it all out, put the money in your bank account. If you die while you're non-resident, that money is in your bank account in Canada, and it won't be dispersed to your kids or whoever your beneficiary is until the will is probated. Whereas with a tax-free savings account, that would be a much cleaner process. It still could be a little bit more complicated as you died in Spain, so we need to get the death certificate and all that stuff. However, once that is all up and running, we don't need to have to probate the will. We would just send the money to the beneficiary who is on file. So that might be one reason, okay? Other than that, talk with your financial professional, figure that out, what's the best case for you, but don't automatically jump that everybody says that this is what it should be, and so I'm going to just get rid of my tax-free savings account. I mean, if you got 5,000, 10,000, it's not going to worry about whatever. That's fine. Take it out. And also, don't forget, don't contribute to a tax-free savings account while you're outside of the country, because that can have heavy penalties of 1% per month of anything over that that you've over contributed. All right. RIFs and RRSPs, registered retirement income funds and RRSPs. I've already alluded to the fact that if you're in Canada and you ask your financial institution to send you some money from your RRSP, there's different levels of withholding tax that you may or may not get back when you do your taxes. So the first level is 0 or 1 penny to $5,000. If you're in Canada, we withhold 10%. So if you take out 5,000, we hold back 500, send it to the Canada Revenue Agency, you get 4,500. The next level is from $5,001 to $15,000, we withhold 25%. So it's the same amount as a withholding tax if you're going outside of the country. And then anything over $15,001, it's 35%. Now, that is going to be, as I explained, 25% for any amount when you're not in the country. One way you might be able to get around this a little bit, if you want to just not worry about withholding tax, is you can convert. And again, please, everything I'm saying here, I have to always remind everybody, this is not advice to go off and do it. Right? Talk with us, talk with your financial planner, make sure it's the right thing for you. But one tactic, you could convert your RRSP to a RIF. At any time. You don't have to wait till age 71, by the way. Most people think, oh, I can keep an RRSP till age 71 and then I have to convert it to a RIF. Not true. That's false. You can be 20 years old if you have an RRSP and convert that to a RIF. The only difference is that after age 71, you can no longer have an RRSP to put money into. But you can have both an RRSP and a RIF. Why would you change it to a RIF? Well, if it makes sense. If you've got a large RRSP and you want to get some income from your RIF while you're in Spain and you don't want to have the withholding tax, well, the RIF, the way it works is that there's a minimum amount that must be paid out to you every year. And it's based on a scale of percentages that we are told, every financial institution is told by the CRA. So that minimum amount does not have to be withheld any tax. So that could help. I mean, it might not be a lot if the RIF is not large, for example, right? It could be just a couple of $1,000, but that amount would not be withheld any tax. Now, anything over that minimum amount that is required for us to pay, that would have the 25% withholding tax, of course, unless there's the tax treaty. So that is a little tip for you as well. Want to switch gears. Before I do, I'm going to cue this stuff up. Iveta, if any questions in the chat?
No questions.
Okay.
We encourage you guys to ask questions. Please don't be shy.
Okay. So I'm going to queue up a personal email that I have sent in 2018 when my wife was planning to move to Spain for a job. We didn't know if she's going to be there more than 6 months, if we were going to move there right away in 2018. I'm a financial planner at IG. I was in 2018, I was in my second year at IG, but we were thinking plans of maybe moving to Europe earlier because her parents were getting older and we were just testing the waters. We weren't sure what's going to happen. So I want to share with you an email that I sent to our advanced financial planning unit to see the power of what the response was that helped guide our decisions. This is an actual email. Can you see that, Yvette, on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So look at this. It's a library of books. So this is me here, 2018, Friday, June the 1st. Hello. I have a client, my wife, who has lived in Canada since 1998, and it's a Canadian citizen. She's decided to take a job in Malaga, Spain, starting in July for the specific reason of being closer to the parents that are older. She's not sure if she will stay in Europe long term, and she does plan to fly back once in a while. In terms of taxes, what should she be aware of, as she will be getting income in Spain as well. We also have rental income in Canada, as well as income from her Canadian employer up until she leaves in June. Does she have to advise CRA or OHIP? And then I basically just sent that. And I got a response from Sarah Kinnear, who I'm going to move this over to show you. So we have an advanced financial planning group. This is the team. There's a lot of them. They're spread out across Canada. They're tax and estate specialists. They've got all these designations after them. So Sarah's down here. Where is she? So many of them. Oh my goodness.
She's the director, so she's going to be on the bottom somewhere.
Did I pass her already?
I don't think so.
Okay, hold on. Maybe more at the bottom. Oh, even more. I worked with Mariska Lepke a lot too.
What a team, huh?
Sarah Kinnear. So she's Director of Tax and Estate Planning. And she replied with this wealth of knowledge, which basically starts, hi, Serge. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Don't get afraid. I just want to show you. Either the client will become a non-resident of Canada for tax purpose, or she will not and will continue to be a resident of Canada for tax purposes. So the first thing she wants to talk about, let's be clear. Is she going to be a deemed or a factual resident? And in here, there's all sorts of links that she provided for more information. If we're uncertain of the status, this is how we can figure it out. But then she goes on to even give links to your tax obligations with the CRA if you're leaving Canada permanently. So you click on these links and something should open up. It's opening up now. Who should file a tax return? So very, very helpful. Lots of information. But then she goes, I'll assume for the rest of this email that she will become a non-resident. Notifying the CRA. You asked if the client has to notify the CRA. Assuming she's not currently getting any benefits that are only payable to residents like CCB, GIS, then she wouldn't need to notify them until she files her final taxes. This is really important information. This is a question that is asked a lot. Non-residents and non-registered accounts. So what happens to those things? She's offered a non-resident tax calculator. I'm not sure if this is, keep in mind, this email is from 2018. So some of these links may have changed, but let's see what happens there. Yeah, see, that's not valid anymore. But for example, we have access to this that we would ask a specific question for a specific client that's in their situation and get a very detailed answer that we can come back to and guide our clients to help them to, what to do next. Provincial healthcare, OHIP. Well, we know that it's not going to follow you forever, but she gave us a link for OHIP coverage while outside of Canada. So we can talk about this and give it to our clients. I just found it, I didn't remember that I had this, but in my preparation for this session tonight, I came across it and I just said, wow. Like I was impressed back then. I'm continually impressed even now when I get these. Like this is an available resource for me and Iveta for any question. And typically when I meet with new people, the first thing I tell them is, if there's any question whatsoever, it doesn't matter what it is. If we don't know it, we can find that question out, that answer out for you. And it's free. We don't charge a penny for this kind of service. Of course, we don't do it all the time for anybody just calling every 5 minutes and they're not clients, but we are happy to do that for this group. If you have any questions. So there's something in the chat here, RIF minimums.
No, that's me.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
you? Okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, okay, great. So yeah, there's different RIF minimums that Yvette is showing you there. Let's see what else I wanted to talk about. Got an agenda here. All right. Wow. I flew that, so that's pretty good. I will give Sergey a 1-minute warning that we'd like him to come up and talk before you can start unmuting and getting ready, wiping the wine from your face if you're having some tapas and wine, because he's in Spain right now. Actually, she's like 2 o'clock in the morning. But I'm going to queue up something to show you who he is and why we invited him.
Always ready. He says he's always ready.
Ready, he said? All right, cool. All right, so let's see. I love that. Hey, Sergey, give me a moment. I prepared something to show them exactly why you're here.
That's what happens when you have 7 screens in front of you. Trying to find the right.
And I even put them all in a file folder. Okay, there we go.
Okay, you're doing well.
All right, share. There you go. Haha. Look at that. There he is. He looks pretty cool with the sunglasses there. So this is Sergey, Bogdan, his son, and Alla, his wife. I've gotten to know them very well through a Facebook group initially, and then we have actually done a series of interviews that's on the YouTube channel from non-lucrative visa. We talked about the golden visa, which is kind of going out now. I interviewed Bogdan on his perspective as a younger Canadian that moved to Spain and what his experiences are. Ala, we've done a session and I haven't gotten it out yet, but she actually went and did a grocery shopping in Malaga. She showed me the bill, she showed me the food and what the cost was. So I really, really enjoy speaking with them. They're called Enso Team Realty and they're in Malaga, but they've gone through the process. They moved from Toronto to Malaga. They used the reason we talked to Yuri, who's the Prime League gentleman, the cargo. They used Yuri. That's how we got to talk with Yuri. So a lot of good information has come out from them. Welcome, Sergey. I'm going to call you, like I joke with you when we talk, Sergio, because
Yes, now I'm with Sergio.
does anybody have if anybody has questions about property purchases, start putting them in the chat now or unmute. And Sergey, just, tell us a little bit about what you do in Malaga. What does your company do?
Well, as you said, we moved, maybe 5 years ago, we've decided, enough is enough, and we started to plan our escape from Canada to warmer places and ended up decided it's gonna be Spain. Then we narrowed it down to Costa del Sol.
Okay.
And we bought first property here online during COVID. We bought the pre-construction here. Ala's been a realtor in Toronto for many years. I've been in construction. So we've done quite a few property purchases in Toronto and everything. So it was not unusual for us to buy.
Okay.
It was quite unusual to buy online, whatever. But so we moved here. We moved here in July 2022 permanently. Very happy.
Good.
No
So
regrets.
it was an easy move since Ala was a realtor in Toronto. All she had to figure out is how to become a realtor in Malaga.
Yeah,
And
it's not
you are
easy.
working with,
It's not that easy.
pardon me?
Obviously, not that easy. I'm giving you the shorter version, obviously, but
Yeah. And what kind of visa did you guys use to set up shop there?
we used annual visa, non-lucrative visa. It was
Okay.
simple for us, right? And even though it does not allow you to work as an employee, we're able to set up a company. We have administrators. As long as you have an administrator, and then you just
Okay,
you run
good.
the company, right? So you're
Now, one thing I remember from our discussions that was really interesting for me, and maybe you can talk about this, you do a lot of pre-construction and units that are like either we call them condominiums, but what do you call them over there? There's something else. They're called something else there, right? Or
apartments.
apartments. Okay.
Yeah.
And there was something interesting that I'd like you to talk about, not that piqued my interest. If I'm not planning to be there a long time, or I'm not for the full year, you said that there's some places that you could actually buy, and it's property managed, so that when you're not there, there could even be income that's coming in. Can you talk about that?
Well, there could be income. You can buy pretty much any property and then rent it, like hire a maintenance company, management company, and let them rent for you. But there are very special projects where there's a collaboration of a hotel and a developer or a large hotel chains like they built a development and they're happy to manage it for you. So you basically let them manage it and you just let them know, okay, I'll be certain dates, I'll be in my property, and the rest of it, you please go ahead and rent it out. And they advertise, they find clients. Well, they do full maintenance, full management. They normally charge about 25 to 35% of gross income, but that's the price you have to pay for having a passive income and passive investment like that.
Iveta?
So sorry, Serge, we have a question from Don, very down to the gritty stuff. What documents do you need to buy an apartment in Spain? Which is also a question to a lawyer, but I'm sure you've gone through it, so I'm sure you will know what's required for still being a Canadian, I suppose, Don, right?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Yeah, you're definitely gonna need the NIE to do any kind of financial transactions here. And you need the proof of income. It's important to notice that Canadians, you can still wherever, we can get a mortgage here in Spanish bank or European bank based on Canadian income, which is very important. So it's pretty much same documents as you would need in Canada: proof
So
of income, your IDs, and AE.
let's take a step back because I'm gonna put myself in Don's shoes and I wanna because I'm gonna ask these questions if I don't know anything and I don't still. So I'm coming to we're gonna say Malaga because that's where you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've already talked to you in advance and say, hey, I want to come and see some properties. What do I need to bring with me to show you like that I want to buy a property? Like, I need the NIE, I need the passport, obviously. I need like what else do I need to just show you or to show the bank or anything like that?
Well, at the first step, you don't need anything,
Okay,
right? You come over. Normally, normal process, we get in touch even before people come over, so we prepare, we find out what exactly they're looking for, like just the
gotcha.
normal common sense stuff, right? And then people come here, we show them properties, they pick up something, we go normally, like we highly recommend hire a lawyer because real estate market here is not a Canadian market. It's not as well regulated as in Canada. There's lots of questionable properties. There's lots of questionable developers or builders, wherever. Not as many, but still, right? So we highly recommend hire a lawyer. So normal process, people go, they meet with the lawyers, they give him power of attorney. We're dealing with one of the best law firms here in Spain, like it's called Martinez Echeverria. Very old firm, very well established, have many offices all over the place. So, and they offer our clients like a package deal, which includes obtaining NAE, getting power of attorney, and then, all the services required to buy
Okay, that's
property,
great.
utilities, and everything.
So
There is a
you would
question.
introduce them to the lawyer there, then they would from what I understand, if let's say if it's me again, I meet with the lawyer, I sign a power of attorney with them, so they have the power of attorney to transact on my behalf, whether
Exactly,
I'm there
because
or
normally
not.
people come here for a week or two, they pick up, right? They
Yeah,
pick a property and they go back to Canada or States or wherever.
yeah. Iveta?
Yeah, we have a question here from Kirsten. So, well, she's saying, is everybody planning to buy right away? She says, we are thinking of renting first to find out which area would work best for us. Question, if you have a EU passport accompanied by a non-EU spouse, my scenario, and you apply for residency in Spain, you need to show your, now this I don't understand, empadronamiento, what that means. When you register, is there a minimum rental term required? Is it 6 months? Is it 1 month, a year? Is there some sort of term for rental, Sergey? I suppose that is the main question. Is it 6 months minimum, 1 year minimum, or there's no minimum to rent, not to buy?
You see, there's no minimum per se, but no one is gonna rent you like for so-called long-term for less than 6 months, right? You want to rent for less than 6 months, you should go through Airbnb or Booking or sites like that. No
Okay.
one really.
That's for Malaga. That's for Malaga, right? Is
That's
that
for our region here, yes.
yeah.
I
It might be
believe
different
it.
in different regions. I
That
want
Yeah.
could
to
be different for
and I can talk about that too, because when we were there, it was difficult to find a long-term rental because there were so many tourists coming into Malaga. But when we did find one, it was a year, and they actually wanted us to pay everything in advance, but we negotiated and no, we weren't going to do that. So there will be some negotiation because they don't know if you're going to be there or not, right? So they almost for their own security wanted that.
Every deal is different. They want to see proof of income, obviously, and they love employment contracts. So for Canadian, like for a person who's coming from Canada here, let's say, obviously not obviously, but let's say not having people, the person is coming on NLV visa. They don't have any employment contract. Like they can show funds, they can show some kind of passive income, but they're not that much interested in that. It's very common they would require a person who's really willing to get that particular apartment or any kind of apartment to pay 6 months up front. It's not unusual.
Yeah.
It's just a way for them to make sure they'll get paid.
So do you recommend like they go to Vrbo or Airbnb, or how would they find something for shorter, like it's a month or 2 months or something like that?
Yeah, Airbnb, like any kind of booking Airbnb. That's what we did.
Yeah.
Same,
Okay.
we're not exactly sure. We bought one apartment, like as I said, pre-construction, it was not ready, so we came here to look for property actually to buy and move here. We came here, rented for 5 weeks, came here, explored the whole Costa del Sol, figure out which particular area we want to be. Then we narrowed down our search, and that's how we did.
And you guys left, you're that situation where you had kids and you left them behind. You said, we're going to go, and then the kids wanted to stay back in Canada, right? So that was probably
Well,
not
he
that
was
easy.
21 at that time, but like I'm not sure if you can call. Well, obviously still kid. I don't know. It's still a child, but no, it's not. It's not. He was 21. He was in George Brown at that time, so we left him in our apartment, and
Yeah.
full financial support. He
Yeah.
was pretty happy with that. He graduated. He worked for 8 months in Toronto, and then he said, "I'm coming over." And you're
There you
welcome.
go. And the NIE, do you get that in Canada or in Spain?
No, we got it here. As I said, it was a part of a package of a deal with the lawyer.
There was something else interesting you talked about in one of our other interviews, which is available to watch. You said that you got the NLV, but because you were traveling to Spain anyway, you did all the translation and all the stuff in Spain, and it was a much faster process.
Majority of it, yes. Yeah, because we were coming
Because
here.
some of our participants are going to Spain next year too, and can you talk about that? Because I know that in Canada it seems to be like kind of cumbersome. You have to get everything.
Yeah, it's long and expensive, and it was even worse back in 2021, 22.
Right.
Right? But even though like we were coming here, so we brought our marriage certificates, birth certificates, all those documents, because everything was, I was born in Ukraine, we got married in Ukraine, so all that was in Ukrainian. We brought everything here and got it translated and verified, apostilled here for pennies, basically, just for a few euros and half a day.
And then you brought it back to Canada and submitted it in Toronto, right?
We submitted all the documents. We submitted we asked for a visa in the Toronto consulate.
Because you can't do the NLV in Spain. You have to be outside the country, right?
Oh, yes, sure.
Okay.
We were still residents of Canada at that time, and yeah, we applied in Canada in Toronto.
Okay.
But yeah, if anyone is coming here anyways on vacation or wherever, it may totally make sense to bring those documents here and translate.
So that lawyer firm that you are working with, do they do consultations with Canadians before they come to let them know what they need to bring, or is it only once they're there?
No, absolutely. We can arrange like a Zoom meeting, wherever. We only recommend people, as you know by now, we recommend people who we either work with or same as you do, we verified them and made sure they're actually professional as they do what they say and they know what they're doing. And yes, the gentleman here who's a specialist, who's an immigrant specialist, he does a Zoom consultation, so that could be arranged and people know exactly he can recommend which way to go. He's very knowledgeable and efficient.
Okay. Any other?
So will that information, will you share it, Sergey, that information with our audience, the lawyers, or they come straight through you first to get to the lawyers?
No. Absolutely, I will share it. I'm sure Sergey should have it. If he doesn't, I'll share it with Sergey and let him just spread it.
Email it to the group.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Lots of great information, guys. Any other questions? Let's pick his brain. He's a wealth of knowledge here. Please, if you don't want to type, unmute yourself and ask questions. It's a good opportunity.
It's
Or
been
if there's any questions, guys, you can let Sergey know later, and we always keep in touch. I'll alternate, I'll be able to answer those questions later if you think about anything else.
Well, there have been many weeks, Serge, we've been talking about that we keep forgetting to mention our dear pets because Mark and Mary expat, they had a
yes.
pet. And when they moved to Spain, they want to bring their pet along. So this, by show of hands.
We brought our dog here with
Well,
us.
there you go. So by show
How
of
did you
hands,
do
this,
it? How did you do it?
It was not easy, it was not cheap, but we managed.
Was it Air Canada?
cargo?
What was the airline?
No, well, we were flying through, we actually, because of him, we had to drive to Montreal and just fly straight. So there's less connections and less stress for him. It was, unfortunately, he passed away a few months after we came here. He was an older dog. We had a Chow Chow, right? So we tried to make it as easy as possible for him.
Yeah. Wow, that's quite an emotional ride. Sergey, the first session we talked about this. We talked about financial, emotional, and logistical, and you just did all three of them.
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
yeah.
that's. But there are, and I know actually she's one of the participants, but she's not joining us. But I know that they ship their dog in a private cargo along with other 10 owners. They paid a private airplane. They were inside that airplane all together, and they flew over from US. It was though so she had to do the paperwork for the US first, bring the dog there, and from US they flew directly to Portugal, and there they just drove down to Spain. But there is that possibility as well. There you go. You have traveling with pet. One option is in cargo. The other option, you rent a private jet. I believe it cost her at the time, couple years. Now it's about a year and a half, 2 years ago. It cost her, I believe, $8,000 or $9,000.
Well, there's one more option. I know our clients, they brought a dog from Vancouver. They're from Vancouver. It's not a small dog, but somehow they managed to bring him inside. They bought him actually separate seat, and they brought him inside, not in the cargo, but in actual.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So,
Sergey, there is another question from John, and you don't see it, guys. Allow me to read it out. So he's very specific. What documents should we take with us to have translated in February? So John is traveling in February via Gioza, and they are potentially interested in purchasing a property. So the question is, so what should they bring in case if they find the property? They don't have nothing right now. They're just Canadian citizens.
Before you answer that, Sergey, I know you're very good at also explaining that you are not the expert on that part because you're the realtor. I would suggest to John, and then we'll let Sergio answer, to speak with either Sergey's lawyer or the one that we recommended to give you that exact information, because they're the legal experts on that. But now I'll leave it to Sergio to answer from his perspective.
So if we're talking about purchasing a property, all you need is your Canadian passport. Everything else you'll be able to send later, proof of income or anything else you can send later. If we're talking about visa, any type of visa, then John should definitely talk to a lawyer. I know in general, like as I said, birth certificates, marriage certificates, stuff like that, but definitely talk to a lawyer first so nothing is missed.
And since your lawyer's in Malaga and the one that we interviewed is in Valencia, I think that it would be Inma that you'd be talking to if that's the area. Just we'll send her his contact details again. Send her a note. She's going to have a Zoom call with you and tell you exactly what it is that you need to bring, and then you can do it there.
There's another question from Dawn. In your research, what are the best and safest areas in and around Malaga to rent and buy?
Great question. I love that question.
I live in La Cala de Mijas. and I think it's the best place in terms of combination of bang for your buck value, because I think anyone who research Costa del Sol knows Marbella is pretty expensive, right? So we find that in La Cala de Mijas, in the Mijas, the combination of a price and what you get for that money is amazing, is good. Estepona is pretty good and growing very fast.
Thank you, Serge.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Let's see, where's La Cala de Mijas? It's
Right
this
where
is
the curve is, right here.
okay.
Right here, he says.
Well, this
He's
little
Let's go on a bit. So
that's
this
where it is.
this is where's Malaga? Oh, there's Marbella.
Right, it's halfway between Malaga and Marbella. Right, so
Okay,
it's close enough. It's about half an hour drive to the
Mijas,
airport.
I see
to Malaga.
Mijas.
Yeah, Mijas,
Se-
and then Mijas, it's Mijas Pueblo. It's up in the mountains, and there's La Cala de Mijas, which is right on the seafront.
Okay. And it looks like, let's see, let's put this dude here somewhere.
Put him closer to the sea.
I can't. There's no, okay, here, maybe this one here. All right,
There you go. There's
There
the
you go.
beach.
And it's a blue flag beach. Very good.
Which is
What is a blue
meaning
flag
what?
beach?
The best quality, all the good facilities, good water, everything's good. Yeah,
There you go.
All right,
Be-
cool. So you guys are specialists from where to where? From
Our specialists pretty much from Malaga to Estepona,
okay.
which is the west of Marbella.
Okay.
All right. So there we go. So
There's
walking is 8
Malaga.
hours. We don't it's a 30 minute drive from Malaga to where you guys are. And
Yeah.
Estepona is somewhere here, I guess. There's Estepona.
Exactly.
All right. Good.
That's Marbella. So the whole southern coast.
So that's pretty much all Costa del Sol, yeah, all the western
And
part.
hey, just out of curiosity, since we've got a vet on the here, let's go. Where's Calpe, which is her favorite place?
To the right.
Let's
Go up to
Calpe.
the right. Here. It's
Whoa,
here.
look at that. It's all the way over there. It's 5 hours
Yeah,
away.
you see that? That's where Calpe is. That's a little bit softer climate. Little bit softer, meaning not maybe as hot, but I don't know. I mean, I
Let's go.
would
What's
still
their
need
beach
to
look like?
experience. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Oh,
actually,
that's
it's
not
it's
the
another
beach.
way
Looks the
around.
same like the other one.
Where's the beach? I gotta go to the beach.
Well, you see that green thing? That's what's behind me. That's the
Here?
rock. You see in
Where
my
should I put
picture?
the little guy? Should I put it here?
Why? Put it on the beach. Well, that's yeah.
I'm trying
Well,
to.
okay. Well, there you go. That's all the apartment block, and you can see the rock in
Oh, there's
the
that
little
rock.
bit far. Yeah.
Oh, is that the one that behind you right now on the
I'm
beam?
not sure. It looks a little different.
All right.
Yeah, maybe.
Guys, it's 8 o'clock. Feel free to
Yeah.
stay on. I'm not
We
gonna
just-
hang up immediately. But this has been a great. Any more questions?
Do we have any more questions? Not at the
We're
moment.
gonna send you an
Okay.
email with everything we talked about. It's Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever coming up. December is a busy month, so enjoy time with your family. I guess I'm gonna close it off. Sergey, do you want to have any last closing thing before we go? By the way, thank you so much for being here almost every week except for last one.
Thank you.
Like you've
Yeah,
been
when
here
I got-
every
when
from
I
the
got
beginning.
stu- When I got
The one
stuck
that
in
we
between.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
Well, any questions, get in touch with us. We'll be happy to give a consultation. Obviously, it's a free consultation. If we don't know the answer to the question, we'll find out and let you know. That's pretty much it.
What is your email, Sergey? Don, we will also share the link of Sergey's site and his information along with
Yeah.
whatever resources we discussed today during this call. Everything is usually summarized and I hope you received those emails because that's how you're registered for this class. So in those emails, you will see the links, you will see the repeat video. And once again, just to summarize it all, we'll see you, hopefully some of you, January 28th. You do need to register. I did post those links in the chats. Please, there's somebody joining us now.
Well, let them in. Let them in.
There's
Well,
somebody joining us
so
now.
yeah, and I wanted to make sure everybody knows about this channel. This is where we're going to post, where we post as we get them. There's
Hello, everyone. My
a
name
channel
is
here
Sergio.
with Yuri. There's a bunch of other videos here that we made with, where is he? With Sergey and his wife. They're all in here. So basically, find us here. We'll send you the link again. If you register and subscribe, whenever there's a new video, you'll get notified, whatever that is. And we listen to you. If you have questions, we'll try to answer them. So we'll create a video to answer those questions. If we don't know, we'll find out, and we'll ask Sergey for his contacts. We'll ask other people that are in Spain. We're focusing a lot on Spain because that's where a lot of people are going. But I know some of you are Italy, so send us those questions too, and we'll figure that out too. Other than that, Iveta?
Happy holidays. All the very best. We'll see you in the new year. Make lots of wishes, because the more we wish for, the more things come to reality. That is my belief. That's what I teach my family and my kids. It's when you don't know what you want is where you get nowhere. So set those goals and things will come to life. Thank you.
Well said.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays. And
Disclaimer: the information provided in this masterclass is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. While every effort has been made to ensure the information is accurate and up to date, it may not be applicable to your specific situation. This presentation covered topics such as taxes on dividends, capital gains and interest, various government forms, and a discussion with a member of INSO Team Realty in Spain about the non-lucrative visa, NLV, NIE, and buying property in Spain. Please note that the inclusion of any individual, company, or service, including INSO Team Realty, does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation. All examples were provided for informational purposes only. Tax laws, immigration requirements, and property regulations vary based on individual circumstances and can change frequently. You are strongly encouraged to consult qualified professionals, including financial advisors, tax specialists, and legal experts, before making any decisions related to these topics. This masterclass is not affiliated with, endorsed by, or representative of any companies, organizations, or platforms discussed. Viewer discretion is advised, and all participants are responsible for conducting their own due diligence.